Close your eyes and imagine. You are a soldier lying in a freezing trench in Donetsk. Around you, there is no sound of artillery, no crack of rifles, only a terrifying silence. Then suddenly, from the horizon, a faint buzzing, like a mosquito, begins to rise. But it isn't a mosquito. It is the sound of death being programmed. You look up, and there isn't just one. Dozens, hundreds of small black specks are encircling the sky. You run, but they are faster. You hide, but they have thermal eyes. This isn't a sci-fi movie about the year 2099. This is the reality of the Ukrainian battlefield in 2026. In the military world, there are numbers that make you reflect, and there are numbers that make you tremble. 50,000. That is the figure recently set by Mikhailo Fedorov, Ukraine's new Minister of Defense and the architect of its digital economy. His goal isn't just to reclaim a certain number of square kilometers this month. His goal is to completely eliminate 50,000 Russian soldiers every month using a robotic army. Welcome back to the Military Show. Today, we won't be talking about old school tank battles. We are going to decode a military revolution unprecedented in human history. A war where lines of code and semiconductor chips are directly deciding the fate of an empire. 50,000 bodies a month. Is this the wild boast of a tech CEO turned politician? Or a calculated death algorithm designed to break Vladimir Putin's will? Join us as we dive deep into the Great Wall of Drones Ukraine is building to see the future of modern warfare. To understand why the goal of 50,000 soldiers a month is grounded in reality, we have to understand the man behind it, Mikhailo Fedorov. In 2019, at the age of 28, he became the youngest minister in Ukrainian history. At the time, his mission was to digitize a nation still buried under piles of Soviet-era bureaucratic paperwork. He created Dia, an app where Ukrainian citizens could do everything from paying taxes to registering pets with a few taps on their phones. But when Russian tanks crossed the border in 2022, Fedorov realized one thing. If he could use algorithms to optimize public services, he could also use algorithms to optimize the destruction of the enemy. Fedorov doesn't view war through the lens of a traditional general with paper maps and pencils. He views it as a data system. To him, every Russian soldier on the battlefield is a data point that needs to be processed. And the most efficient, cheapest processing tool is the drone. Fedorov's appointment to the position of Minister of Defense in late 2025 was a thunderous message sent to the Kremlin. Ukraine has officially abandoned the Soviet-style war of attrition, where lives are traded for lives. Instead, they have shifted to a startup war model. There, performance is measured by KPIs. And Fedorov's KPI for 2026 is brutally cold: 50,000. Why 50,000? Let's look at the actual numbers. In December 2025, Ukraine confirmed the elimination of 35,000 Russian soldiers in a single month, all backed by video evidence from drones. This was a steady growth from 26,000 in October and 30,000 in November. Fedorov isn't guessing. He's looking at a growth chart and saying, we can do better. He understands that to defeat a Russia with nearly infinite human resources, Ukraine cannot simply pull triggers. They must create an automated meat grinder, where human error is removed and efficiency is pushed to industrial levels. This is the core difference between Fedorov and his predecessors. He isn't just buying weapons. He is building a data-driven killing ecosystem. 50,000 people a month. Let's stop for a moment to feel the horror of this number. It is equivalent to wiping out the entire population of a city like Pokrovsk or Bakhmut in just 30 days. Every 24 hours, nearly 1,700 Russian soldiers are either left on the field or removed from the battle with permanent disabilities. To reach this number, Fedorov doesn't rely on luck. He relies on a simple but deadly probability calculation. Ukraine expects to produce and supply 3 million drones in 2026. If we divide that by 12 months, we have 250,000 drones ready for deployment every month. Now let's do the math. With 250,000 drones to eliminate 50,000 targets, Ukraine has an investment ratio of 5 drones for every single Russian soldier. In military circles, this is an incredibly luxurious ratio. Even if 4 drones are electronically jammed or shot down, the 5th will still complete the mission. And don't forget, the price of an FPV drone ranges only from $400 to $1,000. To eliminate one Russian soldier, it only costs Ukraine a few $1,000s. Meanwhile, to train, equip, and send a new soldier to the front, Russia must spend dozens of times that amount, not to mention the political and social cost of the coffins returning home every day. Fedorov stated clearly in his first speech, "We already have verified video for 35,000 kills in December. If we reach 50,000, we will see what happens to the enemy. They view humans as a resource, and that resource is running dry." This is a war of economic attrition. Ukraine is using cheap 21st century electronic components to destroy Russia's most precious resource, people. Russia can produce more tanks, they can pump more oil, but they cannot produce soldiers faster than Ukrainian drones can kill them. But the number 50,000 isn't just about physical death. It's about terrifying psychological pressure. Imagine you are a Russian recruit who just set foot in Ukraine. You know the probability of being hunted by a drone is nearly 100%. You don't see the enemy, you only hear the buzzing. It is a form of mental torture that no military training can prepare you for. Fedorov is building an algorithm not just to kill, but to crush the fighting will of an entire army. To sustain the number 50,000 every month, Ukraine needs a massive production line. And that is where Fedorov shows his instincts as a tech entrepreneur. Instead of relying on giant, slow, and corrupt military corporations, he created Brave One, a defense innovation hub that operates like a startup incubator. Any young engineer in Kyiv or Lviv with an idea for a new target recognition algorithm or a more efficient drone propeller can receive immediate investment from Brave One. The result? Ukraine now has over 200 different drone manufacturing companies, creating a decentralized production network that Russia cannot destroy with a few cruise missiles. But quantity isn't everything. Fedorov's money shot is integration. He is working to erase the boundary between drone operators and artillery. In 2026, we will see the emergence of digital combined teams. The process works like this. An AI reconnaissance drone automatically detects Russian troop movement in a forest. Instantly, coordinate data is transmitted to the Delta system in real time. This system automatically analyzes the situation. If it's a small group of soldiers, it dispatches the nearest FPV drone. If it's a tank regiment, it automatically designates targets for artillery batteries or HIMARS. All of this happens without going through multiple levels of approval or bureaucratic red tape. Most uniquely, Fedorov has introduced a concept called gamification of the battlefield. Ukraine has deployed a reward point system for drone units. Every time a target is eliminated with video evidence, the soldier receives points in the Delta system. These points can be exchanged for the latest drone models or high-end protective gear from the Brave One marketplace. It sounds strange, even cruel, but for Ukraine's young drone pilots who grew up with PlayStation and Call of Duty, this is the most effective way to maintain morale and constantly improve skills. They aren't just soldiers, they are gamers participating in a life or death game where the prize is the survival of their nation. Furthermore, Fedorov is pushing the Made in Ukraine drone project. Instead of depending on Chinese Mavics that are easily intercepted and hacked, Ukraine is producing its own lines of drones with domestic components, capable of resisting Russia's strongest electronic warfare systems. When you control both the hardware and the software, you hold the keys to the battlefield. Now, let's look at the other side of the line. Vladimir Putin has always believed he could win this war by throwing people at the front until Ukraine ran out of bullets. That is the traditional Russian meat grinder tactic. But Fedorov's algorithm is turning this tactic into a collective suicide mission. Intelligence data shows Russia aims to recruit about 400,000 new soldiers in 2026. That sounds like a lot, but broken down, it's only about 34,000 people per month. Do you see the gap here? Ukraine aims to eliminate 50,000 people. Russia can only recruit 34,000. This means that every month, the Russian army faces a net deficit of 16,000 soldiers. This isn't just a number on paper. This is the collapse of the military structure. When frontline units are destroyed faster than the replacement rate, holes on the map begin to appear. Surviving soldiers are pushed into exhaustion, panic, and loss of faith. They see new comrades arrive only to be eliminated hours later. They see drones hovering overhead like unshakable ghosts. Sources from United 24 Media indicate that as early as December 2025, Russia's volunteer recruitment campaign began showing signs of serious fracture. The number of new contracts dropped by more than 50% compared to the same period the previous year. Why? Because even the poorest people in Russia's remote regions are beginning to realize signing a contract with the military isn't a ticket to a better life. It's a one-way ticket into the crosshairs of a $500 Ukrainian drone. Russia has tried to retaliate by developing their own drones, but they face a core problem: bureaucracy. While in Ukraine, Fedorov allows startups the freedom to innovate, in Russia, every drone project must pass through the hands of corrupt state defense corporations. A drone equivalent to Ukraine's might be inflated to 10 times the price in Russia to facilitate kickbacks. The result is that Russian soldiers on the battlefield still lack equipment or must use outdated gear. Fedorov understands this perfectly. He knows he isn't just fighting the Russian army, he is fighting an obsolete political system. By pushing the elimination rate to 50,000 people, he is forcing Putin to face an unthinkable choice: either admit defeat or conduct a second total mobilization. And as we all know, another total mobilization could be the spark that burns down political stability inside Russia itself. There is a part of Fedorov's plan that many military analysts overlook, yet it is the foundation for everything: governance reform. In the original script of this story, we heard about controversies surrounding figures like Rustem Umerov or Marina Bezrikova. But look beyond that personnel drama. Fedorov is performing major surgery to cut out the Soviet bureaucratic tumor within the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. Fedorov's philosophy is this: a strong army doesn't just have good weapons, it must have a smart operating system. He is applying the lean philosophy of the startup world to the military. He conducts extensive audits, removing layers of middlemen in the arms procurement process. Why does this matter? Because in drone warfare, speed is everything. A new type of drone might be effective this month, but Russia might find a way to counter it next month. If the management system is too slow, taking 6 months to approve a new design, then Ukrainian soldiers will die on the battlefield. With Fedorov, the process from idea to frontline is shortened to weeks, sometimes days. He is also building a system to track ammunition and equipment in real time using QR codes and blockchain. This strictly prevents corruption and the leaking of supplies to the black market, a ghost that has haunted the Ukrainian military since the post-Soviet era. Every taxpayer penny or Western aid dollar must be directly converted into firepower on the battlefield. Fedorov declared, "The Ministry of Defense is not a place for politics. It is a service center supporting those holding guns on the front lines." This is a historic shift in mindset. For the first time, soldiers in the trenches are treated as customers, and the Ministry of Defense must serve them with maximum efficiency. When the governance system runs smoothly, the figure of 50,000 Russian soldiers eliminated is no longer a distant goal. It is the inevitable result of a perfectly optimized industrial chain. Fedorov is proving to the world that in the digital age, a smaller nation with smarter governance can absolutely crush a giant but stagnant empire. So where will all of this lead us? Fedorov's ultimate goal isn't killing for the sake of killing. He is a realist. He understands that Putin will never sit at the negotiating table seriously if he still thinks he can win through sheer numbers. Ukraine's strategy is to force peace by force. By pushing the price of the war to a level that Russia cannot sustain, Fedorov wants to break Putin's calculus. When the number of bodies returning home is too large to hide, when Russian mothers start asking what their sons are dying for, and when the Russian army no longer has enough men to hold lines thousands of kilometers long, that is when the war ends. Fedorov is building a system he calls the indomitable drone wall, a future where Ukraine's borders are protected by a network of sensors and automated robots, making any future invasion attempt an impossible mission. But we must also ask ethical questions. The gamification of death, the use of algorithms to select targets, it is leading humanity into a new era of robotized warfare. This is a road with no return. Ukraine is having to become a technological monster to destroy a geopolitical monster. Whether you support it or not, we cannot deny the talent and determination of Mikhailo Fedorov. He has turned a nation's pain into an unprecedented engine of innovation. He has turned toy drones into weapons that are reshaping history. 2026 will be the year we see the results of this death algorithm. If Ukraine achieves the goal of 50,000 people per month, it will be the end of Putin's ambitions. It will be proof that in the 21st century, artificial intelligence and courage will triumph over the old dogmas and brutality of the previous century. Thank you for joining us on this long journey to explore the depths of Ukraine's latest military strategy. The number 50,000 may be a cold statistic, but behind it lies the aspiration for peace and the life of a nation. The story of Mikhailo Fedorov and his drone army isn't just about weapons. It's about how a small country can stand up to a giant by changing the rules of the game. In your opinion, will Fedorov's strategy truly break Russia in 2026? Or will Russia find a way to turn the tide with even newer technology? Should the use of AI and drones to eliminate humans on an industrial scale become the new standard of war? Leave your thoughts in the comments section. We read every single one of them. If you found this video useful and it gave you a fresh perspective on the Ukrainian battlefield, please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the Military Show channel. Your support is the motivation for us to continue producing deep and professional analyses like this. Thank you for your time. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next strategic analysis.